Negotiations at COP28 went to overtime, concluding with 24 hours extra of negotiations. Negotiations finalized with the final gavel, marking what some are heralding as the commencement of the end of the fossil fuel era. The conclusive text sealed an agreement to hasten the phase-out of coal, triple the use of renewables, double energy efficiency by 2030, and embark on a transition away from fossil fuels towards achieving net zero emissions in the energy sector by mid-century. COP28 President Dr. Sultan Al Jaber described it as a historic package, the UAE Consensus.
And we have language on fossil fuel in our final agreement for the first time ever. All of these are world firsts, and all of these are crucial actions that will help shape a better, cleaner world with greater and more equitable prosperity.
The landmark Global Stockton Agreement at COP28 also encouraged nations to hasten efforts towards reducing unabated coal power, a notable concession after strong resistance from India and China. Reactions to the COP28 deal were mixed. While some hailed it as the beginning of the end of fossil fuels, others condemned it as a significant letdown. For Belize, its position was clear from the onset: defend the interests of vulnerable countries.
Belize is recognized, and we recognize it as one of the most vulnerable countries to the adverse impacts of climate change. So we have to come here to defend that interest, that we need the support from the international community to address the issues of climate change. In addition, we can contribute a lot to reducing the impacts of climate change in other countries through the use of our forests, through the use of our natural resources in the oceans. So there's a lot that we can contribute, but then there's also a lot that we are vulnerable to, and then we have got to show the world why we are vulnerable and what is the help that we require to address climate change.
Despite the advancements of the final GST text, however, there are evident loopholes, and not everyone is content. As celebrations surround the final stocktake text, negotiators representing small island development states underscored their absence from the room, underscoring that their endeavors to cap global warming at 1.5 degrees were largely overlooked.
And one of the goals in that Paris Agreement is the 1.5 degree temperature limit. That limit exists because of small island developing states. And it exists because without having a limit on global warming, we could see significant losses for our countries. Small island developing states include Belize, even though we're a low-lying coastal state. So we've been looking at progress, and we know that we're far off track.
Looking ahead to COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan, observers anticipate finance to become a key issue, with a growing gap between developing countries' needs and the assistance provided.
In terms of adaptation for us, which is the most important part, especially looking at the finance for adaptation, because we are doing our share, but we need to have the financing to get there. So the discussion on adaptation, especially with regards to finance, we couple it along with general climate finance, which we are asking that $100 billion be put out there, that they make certain that every year, for what has been promised for the next 10 years, is that $100 billion gets there.
Reporting for News 5, Hipolito Novelo.